A wonderful evening for us. The new exhibit right here for us at Migrating Archives. Before I introduce our curator and artist-in-residence, I want to thank some of the people who helped put it together. Jeff and Ramon from Creatus, Jeremy Prince, who helped install it here with Dr. Elizabeth Cornell. Elizabeth, where are you? There's Elizabeth. Amy Forrester, of course, our operations manager, and her team of volunteers. Amy, where's Amy? So up the front register, that's Amy, our museum operations person. And the museum is run largely by volunteers. There are some people that are consultants, all of it is unbelievably discounted rates, but mostly it's volunteers that make it happen. And so when you come in and you see things like the new exhibit, know that a lot of people gave volunteer time, very expert people, to help put it together. And that other people will keep the museum open day after day so that people can see it from around the world. So welcome to your museum. Let me introduce our artist-in-residence, E.G. Creighton, who has been with the Historical Society for a number of years and has produced several exhibits for us. And I think this is just, as you can see, a spectacular exhibit. I'm not going to try to explain its impact, but it speaks to the mission of this little space to influence the discussion about queer history and queer culture around the world. And it's amazing. You can be in a little small space off on 18th Street off Castro and spark a world discussion. And it takes ability to do it, and our artist-in-residence did it here with this exhibit. So, E.G. Creighton. E.G.?
So I'm just going to tell you really briefly how this came about. There was this amazing conference in Amsterdam just in August. That was sponsored by the Dutch equivalent of the Historical Society here. It's called IHLIA. I can't pronounce the name of it, but they sponsored a conference that is really about queer archives. And what was great about it being in Amsterdam is that people came from all over the world, from Australia, South Africa, Eastern Europe, United States, all over the world. And so my proposal for this conference, instead of doing the traditional paper, since I'm an artist, was to do a project called Migrating Archives, in which each organization that would agree to participate would actually select what I call delegate archives. So I'm kind of working with metaphors of migration and immigration and crossing of borders. And so I asked each organization to select 2 delegate archives that they would represent in a show that would be at the public library in Amsterdam. And I was really, really pleasantly surprised that 23 organizations responded and were really enthusiastic and very generous. And so that was kind of a rough draft. I literally took that show in a suitcase and set it up on the spot. So this show is the more polished version of that, in which I reconnected with all of these amazing archive people. And it ranges from the Lesbian Archive in Budapest that has a film festival and creates these amazing, funny little videos, to the British National Archive that has Oscar Wilde's Petition to the Court. So, some are very queer archives, others are official government archives that actually have LGBT sections. And so I got to meet these people at the conference, and they, and I narrowed it down for this show because of space, to these 11 archives that you're seeing here. But just know that there's, 11 is, there's like dozens and dozens of these archives around the world, and this Migrating Archives will grow. There'll be a website, and there'll be more representatives that you'll get to see later. But people were just very generous, and I kept bugging them, and I said, oh, could you just make a little video and send me? And a number of them did. So the video is actually some of the people that I was negotiating with around this and who I met, talking about their archives and why they picked a particular delegate archive. So, anyway, it's just exciting to me that all of these organizations have developed around the world, and they're all struggling. They're all, grassroots archives, and The other thing about this show is that it really came together. It's the first show I've ever done where I didn't have to do all of the work. And I've actually been away this week on dealing with family stuff in Delaware. And Ramon Silvestri, Elizabeth Cornu, and Jeff Raby completely designed those graphic panels and basically carried out the exhibition design. They're geniuses, and I'm really, So I came today and saw the show for the first time, and I was just like, wow. So it takes a little time to absorb the material. I hope you'll come back when it's not crowded, because I know there's a lot of text. But anyway, thank you for coming, and this will become a website. It'll become a traveling show. I've already gotten requests to bring this show elsewhere. So I think it's something that people really want to see and find out about. Thank you.